الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. In our khutbah today, inshallah ta'ala, that we'll try to discuss one of the verses in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by way of something for us to reflect upon and to see how those verses apply to us in our life today, and also the general benefit that can be taken from this particular ayah. And the ayah that we have chosen in a verse in Surah Al-A'raf, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned regarding by this ayah by saying, قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّي الْفَوَاحِشَ ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق بغير الحق قل إنما حرم ربي فواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم تنزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون. So this is the verse that we'll be trying to discuss in our khutbah today, regarding what are those instructions that are mentioned in this verse that we the Muslim can look to and see how it relates to our life. Shaykh Abdul Rahman As-Sayyid Rahimullah, when he mentioned or commented on this verse, he mentioned regarding this verse, he mentioned ثُمَّ ذَكَرْ regarding this verse muharramat, that this verse it mentioned matters which is haram, muharramat التي حرم Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made haram في كل sharia, in every of the sharia, من الشرائع, from the legislation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also the ulama have mentioned that this verse, that these things that are mentioned are things that are ittifaq bain ar-rusul, that these things that are mentioned regarding these instructions that we're given, more so things that we should avoid. All these things that are mentioned are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made forbidden in all religion, regarding all of the Anbiya and the religion and what they came with. So regarding these instructions, the ulama, they are mentioned, as is clear, is 5 instructions. 5 things for the Muslim to look at, to reflect upon, and to see how they affect us, and which of them we may fall into, and what needs to be done regarding if we fall into them, that we need to change certain things regarding our life. So regarding concerning these matters that are mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّي فَوَاحِشْ. So the first of those instruction is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that say to them, Ya Muhammad alayhi salam, the Rasulullah, to the mushrikeen and to the people in general, that indeed my Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have made forbidden. And the ulama have mentioned regarding harrama, that something being haram in Islam is something regarding ما أمر الله شرطه واجتنابه على وجه حتم, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He makes something haram, then this what it means by this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this thing is haram and it's compulsory upon the Muslim to avoid it. Haram meaning is something that comes to us in the Sharia of Islam, that the Muslim and mankind in general, they should avoid this act and stay away from this act. Man tarakahu yuthab, the one who avoid these things is rewarded. Waman waqa fi, and the one who fall into these things, yudham, then such a person is looked upon in a blameworthy way and manner. So these matters that are mentioned, the first regarding al-fawahish, these things of fawahish that are mentioned, and the ulama alayhim rahmatullah, they mention regarding al-fawahish, of those who mentioned regarding fawahish, they mention kabair al-dhunub, that these things of fawahish are major sins. Of the ulama who mentioned that al-fawahish is regarding ma'alayhi al-uquba, these fawahish are things where there's a punishment for a person who fall into this sin. This punishment قد يكون في الدنيا أو في الآخرة. These punishments is possible, the punishment could be in this dunya and also possible also in the akhirah. But overall, al-fawahish are those things that I mentioned, kabahir wal kabahah. These are things that are repugnant, that the Muslim should avoid. These things are kaba'ir, that the Muslim should also avoid regarding of these sins. So regarding these matters, regarding fawahish, also the ulama have mentioned regarding al-fawahish, regarding al-aqwal wal-af'al, that anything that are considered to be unacceptable, complete blameworthy, detestable in a person, action or speech, of those things that are drastic, then they mention this is from fawahish, where the Muslim should avoid these things. Also of the ulama who have mentioned regarding concerning al-fawahish, regarding I've mentioned ma dhahar minha wa ma batan, of the fawahish, of those that are done openly. They mention regarding those ones that are ma dhahara, are those that are done openly. So the person who's involved in sins that are clearly haram, but they do so openly. They do so in the presence of others. They do so without caring about what the people say, because that person, they have da'ful iman, they are weakness in their iman. That person also, they have no shame regarding what they do and how they live their life. They don't care about what people says. And the Prophet mentioned, man lam yastahi fasna ma shit, the one who has no shame, then do as he wishes. So the person who does of major sins openly in front of others, publicly, in whatever way or form, then they mention that this is of the worst of types. Then it mentioned wama batan, and also sins that a person may do that are done in secrecy. So we do something, but we're hiding from others. We're hiding in the thing that we're doing. So these are the things that it's still also sinful. So the other ulama will mention that regarding concerning of this madahar, regarding a person who goes about regarding a tawaf aw al-Kaaba, orat, where they make tawaf around the Kaaba, but they do so nakedly because they have no shame, and they all at time they all they think to be halal, even though what is correct is opposite. And of the ulama who mentioned regarding al-fawahish az-zina, that those who fall into az-zina. So az-zina, regarding the person falling into a intimacy out of wedlock. So the person of a relationship by way of boyfriend and a girlfriend, the person who have a mistress, or that sister, that lady, she have someone on the side that she's dealing with in whatever form or shape. The person who is involved in a zina relationship outside of wedlock in Islam, then such a person who is doing something which is grave and serious. So they mention regarding concerning this matter regarding al-fawahish of the ulama who hold it to be a zina, where of the worst of sin. And by way of also zina, this also they mention lawat, those people of, they call it today LGBT. So relationship with one gender with another, iyadhu billah. So those people who have been poisoned, and that's their reality. People who are not well, who are having relationship with another person from the same gender. This is something which is haram in Islam and condemned in all religion, including Judaism, including Christianity, and also with Islam. So this is not something as we find the people try to force it down the people's throat with legislation to force the people not to condemn this evil practice. So also for a Muslim to know that this act is haram, and also for our children to be aware of this, so to educate them regarding that is what they call LGBT, or whatever name they refer to themselves as, that this is haram. Having a relationship with someone from the same gender, it is something which is unacceptable in all ways and form. Also, they mention regarding of those matter, wal ithm, regarding of those things of sins. So al ithm, they mention regarding things regarding al muharramat, thing which is haram upon a Muslim that is engaged in ma'asi. And of the ulama regarding concerning al ithm, ala qawlain, mention regarding al-Dahaq, rahimahullah, qal al-dham ma la had fi, that al-ithm is a sin, ma'asi, but there's no straightforward punishment for that sin. Then they mention regarding al-Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah, qal shurb al-khamr, that regarding al-ithm in this context, in this ayah of the ulama, who hold it to be the person drinking of khamr, the person drinking of alcohol. So this shows regarding that al-ithm is also of those things which is haram upon the Muslim, regarding our sins that we may fall into. So of those things regarding, as mentioned by Hasan al-Basri, regarding that what is intended is khamr, shurb al-khamr, and this will include regarding that the Muslim putting into his body anything which is haram. That will include fag, cigarettes, selling, and also the Muslim taking it and using it. That's also haram. These things that they have, the new thing, vapor, whatever they call it, also this is included. Also regarding the person who takes in any substance into his body that is illegal, then this also is haram. Sniffing things in his nose, through his mouth, or whatever part of his body, then all this is haram. So taking thing which is harmful, that will intoxicate the person's mind and affect the person's health, that of these type of substance that are used, all of this is also included regarding of ithm. Also that they mention the third of those things of haram regarding wal baghi, bighayr al-haq. So the person who transgress their boundaries. And the ulama rahimahullah mentioned regarding al-baghi, ta'addi ala nas, where a person that he does things that he overstep the boundaries with others, bidhulm, by oppressing others and wronging others. So any form of wronging and oppressing of others, where a person action is being affected by others, then this is al-baghi, bighayr al-haq, the person overstepping his boundaries, oppressing others. And this baghi regarding concerning by way of wealth, that we take people's wealth unjustly and unfairly, then this is al-baghi. Also the person regarding al-baghi with our mouths, with our tongues, that we always cursing and abusing the Muslim. I don't like this person, so I'm going to curse him and abuse him and attack him. Then this is baghi. And ghiba wa namima, this is baghi ala nas. So all of this regarding al-baghi, and also regarding concerning, so this is al-baghi, regarding of those things which are haram upon the Muslim, that we should not be oppressing others, Muslim and also non-Muslim. So each have hukuk. Muslim have certain rights, and also the non-Muslim have certain rights. The Muslim, he give each the right that they are deserving. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made al-baghi haram regarding hukuk an-nas, and that the Muslim, he gives people the rights that they are deserving, starting with oneself. So regarding concerning al-baghi, that the person who overstepped the boundaries laid down by Islam regarding rights that others are deserving. So our parents, we don't overstep the boundaries with our parents. With our brothers and sisters, we do not overstep the boundaries. So giving each our neighbors, we also give them their haqq. So each have certain rights that they are to be given. With baghi, the person does not overstep these boundaries. By way of faida, Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, he mentioned regarding the ayah regarding that regarding al-ithm, that's in relation to the person doing wrong to himself, and baghi to others. So Ibn Kathir saw regarding al-ithm, the person wronging himself, and baghi, wronging and oppressing others. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man sara sabilihi ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. So also of those things that I mentioned regarding of those khamsa ashya, these 5 things that are haram, muharramat al-khams, upon a Muslim, then in continuing with this ayah of those things that are haram upon a Muslim, and also mankind in general, as the ayah was initially revealed addressing the mushrikun. So this ayah applies to all that it mentioned, وَأَن تُشْرِكُوا بِاللَّهِ. Then the third or the fourth of those things that are classed as haram is regarding ascribing partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is of the worst of sin a person can commit. The worst of act that can be done. The person worshipping, serving other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the essence of Islam, the essence of all the da'wah of all of the Anbiya, min Adam alayhi salam ila Muhammad alayhi salam, that their da'wah is about Tawheed. And as the Prophet mentioned to us regarding Bunya Islam ala khams, that is Islam, it is established on 5 things. What's the first? And tashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. The first of the pillars of Islam is to be a witness that there is none to be worshipped in truth except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that Muhammad alayhi salam is the messenger of the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Islam is about Tawheed. Islam, the core teaching of Islam is about Tawheed, and also this goes in contrary to Ashirk. As this ayah is clarifying to us, of those things which is the worst of the muharramat, is Ashirk billah, is a person worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it mentioned regarding of those things which is haram, regarding of those things that we should be mindful of, is falling into Ashirk, which is, as the ulama have mentioned, and tusarrif shay min haqqillah li ghayrillah, and for the person to carry out, to offer something which is the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Ashirk. So in a previous khutbah we mentioned regarding Ashirk al-Akbar wa Shirk al-Asghar. Both are haram, one worse than the other, but both Shirk al-Akbar, major shirk, wa Shirk al-Asghar, minor shirk, both are haram, and both that the Muslim should avoid them at all costs. So regarding concerning Ashirk, falling into shirk, of the ulama have mentioned regarding anwa Ashirk, that the Muslim should be mindful of regarding of those types, regarding shirk ad-da'wah, regarding the person who falls into shirk by way of his supplication, where he supplicate, make his dua to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we see that regarding that in this society, that because of Christianity, that they fall into shirk regarding Isa alayhi salam, where they went overboard, over the top, regarding Isa alayhi salam, where they start to supplicate to Isa and turn away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Muslim also to be mindful of this, that we do not make a dua to our Prophet alayhi salam, Muhammad alayhi salam, but rather we make our dua only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second type of shirk, Ashirk al-Ta'ah, where a person concerning Ashirk al-Ta'ah, shirk of obedience, the person gives is complete obedience li ghayrillah, to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are submit completely to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding legislation and law, and other than this. So this is a shirk that the one should also avoid, wa shirk al-mahabba, where the person falls into shirk regarding mahabba, love. You have excessiveness regarding love of things of the creation. So he loves things, his heart is attached to certain things of the creation. Similar to that, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We love ashkhas, we love an individual to the extent we place them above the rights, the place that they are deserving. And we see this regarding those who call awliya, salihin, mashayikh, and the likes, that we start to worship them. Whatever they say, we do. Whatever they say, don't do, we don't do. Then they mention regarding ashirk, and the 4 types regarding ashirk, al-qasd wal-irada, shirk regarding our intention, where the person, as Ilyas mentioned, innama al-amal bin-niyat, that actions are by intent. So the Muslim intent regarding the things that we do, the acts that we carry out, is lillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if the person intend for other than this, li ghayrillah, regarding al-qasd wal-irada, then this is ashirk regarding that particular matter. Then they mention regarding concerning the last and the fifth of those things which is haram. وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that which you do not know. To say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that which you do not know. So this is of those things that is common. That everyone at times we have good intent and at times otherwise. So regarding concern this matter regarding qawl Allah bila ilm, that a person who speaks about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wa deen Allah and the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without ilm, then the person have to be mindful of this, because this is haram. To say and to attest to Islam and attribute to Islam things that Islam is free from and is unknown to Islam. We cannot make up this Islam. It's already made and fitted. It's for us to fit to this Islam. But when we start to add by making up things regarding Islam by way of bid'ah, wal khurafat and the likes, then it's the person who is speaking about the deen of Allah without ilm. So regarding those matters, regarding concerning speech about Islam without knowledge, is the person, if he does not know, say I don't know. And you're safe. But if the person starts to say things he knows he don't know about Islam, then the person is now falling, as they say, you're falling over the pit. So this address regarding ad-du'at that are out there, don't be taken back by the glory and the fame, so you think you have to say something, so you don't feel shame. Leave that. Speak the haqq. And if you don't know the haqq, then be silent. So regarding this matter, speech about Islam is regarding concerning matter regarding al-i'tiqad, matter regarding ibadat, matter regarding suluk wa da'wah, that we try to hold within the fold of Islam, the teaching of Islam, going back to the source itself, the Quran or the Sunnah, and according to the understanding of the Salaf of this Ummah and A'immat regarding how we perceive what is Islam and how we communicate Islam, and also regarding speech without ilm is people fall into taqleed, people who fall into that they blind follow a particular sheikh. In everything he says, Ameen. Everything he says, don't do Ameen. That's a person. You see, a person who may be right and sometimes may be incorrect. But it's for us to look into what they say, see the dalil, regardless with its status thing being held in place, but without going overboard regarding just taking everything he says. And also we find it prevalent in today regarding hukum ala nas, people who pass hukum upon people. Anta mubtada, anta kafir, anta fasik. That the Muslim have to be mindful regarding passing judgment upon your brother Muslim, regarding taking him out of Islam, saying that he's a mubtada, is this, is that, and you have no bayyinah. You have no bayyinah. That remember you have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding this matter. So as mentioned this ayah, khamsa ashya, that the Muslim should avoid. So the Muslim regarding the ayah that it mentioned regarding those things regarding al-fawahish, evil practice of kabahir, al-itham, sinful stuff, also al-baghi, oppression, also worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also lastly speech about Islam without knowledge. So these are a matter to be mindful of as we leave today. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهذه السبيل والآخر دعوانا الحمد لله وأقيموا الصلاة.